In presence of all the dignitaries, Jagdeep Dhankhar became the next Vice President of the country. Dhankhar was administered oath by President Draupadi Murmu in the Rashtrapati Bhavan today.
मैं जगदीप धनखड़
ईश्वर की शपथ लेता हूँ कि मैं विधि द्वारा स्थापित भारत के संविधान के प्रति सच्ची श्रद्धा और निष्ठा रखूंगा तथा जिस पद को मैं ग्रहण करने वाला हूँ उसके कर्तव्यों का श्रद्धापूर्वक निर्वहन करूंगा।
Prime Minister Modi congratulated the country on the occasion of Raksha Bandhan today. He celebrated Raksha Bandhan festival at his residence. This was in fact a special Raksha Bandhan as these girls were daughters of the downtrodden, and Prime Minister Modi there getting Rakhi tied by the girls. The Indian Army foiled an attack on the Indian Army base in which 5 terrorists were neutralized while 3 Army Jawans lost their lives. In fact, 1 officer and 2 Jawans were also injured in this terror attack. They've now been shifted to medical facilities for further treatment.
अपनी शहादत देकर के बहुत बड़े हादसे को अंजाम देने से रोका। अपनी जान की परवाह न करते हुए जम्मू कश्मीर में 15 अगस्त के आसपास जो आतंकियों ने एक योजना बनाई थी उसको नाकाम किया। तो मुझे लगता है कि उन सेना के जवानों की शहादत बेकार नहीं जाएगी।
The Income Tax Department attached properties assets amounting to over 390 crore rupees from an industrialist in Maharashtra's Jalna area. Now this comes after the IT conducted search at multiple locations linked to an industrialist. In the major seizure, the IT attached properties worth 390 crore rupees including cash and gold. In a massive development, the Central Bureau of Investigation arrested senior TMC leader Anubrata Mondal after he repeatedly skipped the summons by the CBI 10 times in relation to the cattle smuggling scam. He's now been taken for the medical checkup as well. After the arrest of TMC leader Anubrata Mondal, the CBI has summoned 8 more officials allegedly involved in the coal scam case. Speaking exclusively to the public, the AAP leader Amantullah Khan said that the ACB has given false information and that he had provided every document that had been asked for. He further attacked the BJP and revealed that the agencies are being misused by the central government. In a massive development, the UP court rejected the bail application of abusive politician Shrikant Tyagi, who assaulted a woman after having a heated argument. He was booked under IPC sections 354. After reports of a rebellion brewed, the Shiromani Akali Dal party chief Sukhbir Badal has called for a meeting at the party office in Chandigarh. And in more news coming in, a mega Tiranga rally that took place in the national capital as part of the celebrations of 75th year of independence. The Tiranga rally that took place in the national capital, the visuals on your screens which saw huge participants as well. In a shocking incident coming to light from Patna, where a priest was brutally murdered in Ram Janki temple in Bihar, following the gruesome murder, anger fueled among the locals demanding for a proper probe. Meanwhile, the police has reached the spot for further investigation.
गाड़ी मिले सुबह 6:45 बजे।
अच्छा, किसने बताया?
कोई बच्चा गांव के बताया, कोई आया था यहाँ पे, वही बताया है।
उनका कभी किसी से झगड़ा हुआ?
नहीं, 2 रोज पहले किसी से झगड़ा हुआ था, पर हम अभी नाम अपने ऊपर नहीं करेंगे उनका।
तो ये बात बोलते नहीं ना?
बोलते नहीं, गूंगे हैं। हाँ, वो ऐसे बोलते हैं।
कितने वर्षों से इसमें
मोटे 25 साल से ऊपर है।
25 साल
ऊपर है, हाँ।
कितने वर्ष से पूजा कर रहे हैं?
25 साल से पहले। 30 साल समझ लीजिए, 28-27 से समझ लीजिए।
Meanwhile, the police arrested 3 accused involved in BJP leader Praveen NETTARU'S murder case. Meanwhile, the total tally of arrests that have been made in connection with the brutal murder has now reached to 10. Bihar Chief Minister NITISH Kumar, while responding on the BJP charge, claimed that he has no intention of becoming the president. He had no intention, in fact, of becoming the president or the vice president of the country, further saying that all the claims that have been made by the BJP are false.
पूरी मजबूती के साथ बिहार के सभी लोग जो विपक्ष के हैं, हम लोग सब कोशिश करेंगे मिल करके एकजुट होकर के आगे बढ़ने का। इसकी चिंता मत करिए। आदि वाला भी एकदम बोगस बात है, हमारी कोई इच्छा नहीं थी। आई लोग भूल गए क्या? राष्ट्रपति और उपराष्ट्रपति के दोनों के चुनाव में हम लोगों की पार्टी ने कितना सपोर्ट किया।
Meanwhile, Bihar Deputy Chief Minister Tejasvi Yadav said that the people of Bihar are happy now. Remember, this comes after Nitish Kumar and Tejasvi Yadav took oath as the Bihar Chief Minister and the Deputy Chief Minister, respectively.
इनका चाल और चरित्र उजागर है। आप देख नहीं रहे पूरे बिहार में कितनी खुशी का माहौल है। जो मुस्कान आम और गरीब के चेहरे से, आम आदमी के चेहरे से छिन गया था, आज वो मुस्कान, खुशी झलक रहा है।
Senior advocate PRASHANT came down heavily on the Supreme Court at an event organized by the US-based advocacy group. Speaking by video link at this event, where PRASHANT Bhushan said that that the Supreme Court had taken back the civil liberties of the people and also abdicated its role.
Being that in general the Supreme Court has by and large abdicated its responsibility to protect the human rights and fundamental rights of citizens, and indeed gone further in some cases to even assault the civil liberties of the citizens.
Now, wrestler DIVYA, who bagged a bronze medal in the recently concluded Commonwealth Games, responded to Aam Aadmi Party's comment that saying that she had played for Delhi from 2011 to 2017. Kakran had taken to Twitter to say that she received no help from the Delhi government, though she has been living in the city for 20 years and has been training here. Addressing a press conference, BJP leader Shehzad Poonawalla said that the Aam Aadmi Party has insulted the players, further saying that the Delhi government did not provide proper facilities to the players and also demanded the sacking of the AAP Neta.
2018 में भी जो बातें उन्होंने कही थी और आज वही वस्तु स्थिति आज भी है। ये 2022 में भी जब उन्होंने पदक जीता तब उन्होंने सोशल मीडिया के माध्यम से ये बात रखी कि 2018 में भी यही स्थिति थी और 2022 में भी कांग्रेचुलेशन मैसेज तो आ गए, परंतु जो समर्थन मिलना चाहिए था, जो खिलाड़ियों के मनोबल को बनाए रखने के लिए जो चीजें उपलब्ध करनी चाहिए थी राज्य सरकार को, वो नहीं हुई।
Gandhi sign Rahul Gandhi took a jibe at Prime Minister Narendra Modi, claiming that Prime Minister should abstain from talking about superstitious things. Going on to tweet, and I quote, "Does the Prime Minister not see inflation?" Further, his tweet said that to hide your black deeds, stop lowering the dignity of the PM's post by saying superstitious things like black magic and misleading the country, unquote. With COVID-19 cases on a rise in the national capital, the Delhi government has made wearing of face masks mandatory in public spaces, failing which a fine of 500 rupees will be imposed. Stand-up comedian and actor Raju Srivastava has now been admitted to AIIMS Delhi following a cardiac arrest that he suffered. He's currently on a ventilator system. According to sources, he's responding to clinical treatment. The actor had chest pain and collapsed while working out at the gym. UP Chief Minister also expressed concern over his health. Meanwhile, the Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma took a jibe at Nitish Kumar, who switched sides to join hands with the Mahagathbandhan and to form a government in the state of Bihar, saying that he is a guide for those who want to change parties in every 6 months. After boycotting the Niti Aayog meet, Telangana Chief Minister KCR will be chairing a cabinet meet. The agenda of the meet will be to discuss the mobilization of resources in the state in wake of delay in the state funds. Heavy rains lashed Ramban area in J&K, triggering mudslides and shooting stones incidents, following which the visuals also surfaced in which the national highway could be seen blocked as a result of landslides in the area. Due to heavy rains in several areas of Uttarakhand from last 2 days, the hilly areas of Uttarakhand continue to witness several landslides, and which has also resulted in blocking of several roadways in the hilly areas. The visuals that surfaced show the national highway that was blocked due to the landslides. Meanwhile, the state administration has taken cognizance and deployed the SDRF to clear the debris. In news from Himachal, where a cloudburst was reported in the Kullu area of Manali in Himachal Pradesh, according to sources, 2 people have lost their lives, whereas 10 shops were washed away due to flash floods in the area. Meanwhile, the Kullu administration has issued a warning asking people to avoid venturing close to rivers. The daily life of mountainous areas for those living in the mountainous areas of Mandi in Himachal was disrupted and made more difficult as heavy rains continue to lash the hilly Himalayan areas of Mandi district, making the normal life come to a standstill. Meanwhile, the local weather department has issued an advisory for the people in the area to not venture outside. Heavy rains lashed parts of Jammu, leading to waterlogging and traffic snarls in many areas. Heavy rainfall was reported in several areas of Jammu, Ramban and other areas of J&K. Meanwhile, traffic movement was also came to a standstill as a result of the waterlogging. BJP National President JP Nadda will be on a 2-day visit to Tripura starting August 27 to strategize the 2023 assembly polls. Nadda is also expected to address a rally in Agartala and hold a key meeting with the party's office bearers in Tripura. And in yet another milestone in the Gangayan project, the ISRO successfully carried out the test firing of the low-altitude escape motor of crew escape system from Andhra Pradesh. The crew escape system takes away the crew module of the Gaganyaan mission in case of any eventuality and rescues the astronauts as well. And ahead of the 75th Independence Day celebrations, the BJP organized an event in Surat's Tapi River. Following the visuals that surfaced show numerous boats lined up that were all decked up in tricolour. To mark the 75th year of independence, the RSS leader Indresh Kumar flagged off the Tiranga Yatra to commemorate the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, saying that the Har Ghar Tiranga campaign is a moment of pride for all Indians.
ये है समय भारत की स्वतंत्रता का उत्सव मनाने का है। आपस के अंदर आरोप प्रत्यारोप का नहीं है, बांटने का नहीं है, भड़काने का नहीं है, लड़वाने का नहीं है। यह तो प्रेम से गले मिलकर एकजुट हिंदू ना एकजुट भारत और एकजुट भारतीय, एकजुट हिंद, एकजुट हिंदुस्तानी बनाने का है। आओ गले मिलें और भारत को महान बनाने की ओर तेज गति से आगे बढ़ें।
Days ahead of Independence Day celebrations, the Telangana police also organized a 5-kilometer run to mark 75 years of independence. The police commissioner was seen flagging off the event and said that the awareness was about this campaign should reach maximum households. A Tiranga Yatra was also taken out by the BJP leaders in presence of UP Cabinet Minister. The participants carried flag and also raised slogans saying Bharat Mata Ki Jai. The Gorakhpur Municipal Corporation flagged off 350 vehicles with tricolour to commemorate Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. The Municipal Commissioner of Gorakhpur and Mayor of Gorakhpur was present to mark and celebrate the 75th Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav ahead of Independence Day. Visuals of iconic Charminar also emerged that was all decked up and illuminated in tricolour as part of Har Ghar Tiranga campaign ahead of 75th Independence Day. According to the Home Ministry, over 100 crore people will take part in the Har Ghar Tiranga campaign to rededicate themselves in service of the nation. And in news from across the globe, thousands of Argentine protesters gathered in front of President's office in the capital city demanding better income, state aid and a meeting with the new Minister of Economy. The organizers demanded the government grant a $150 bonus to low-income people and improve the quality of food supply to hundreds of soup kitchens run by social organizations. The sister-in-law of Peruvian president turned herself into authorities after prosecutors issued an arrest warrant for allegedly being part of an asset laundering criminal network. Paredes went into prosecutor's office while receiving support from dozens of people, including the peasant leaders. Hundreds of Bulgarians took to streets to the capital Sofia in Bulgaria, where they voiced their fears that the country's caretaker government should break with the policies of its pro-Western predecessor and revert to close energy ties with Russia. The first public statements by the current caretaker government appointed by President indicate that Bulgaria could restart talks with Gazprom to avoid natural gas shortages. China's Belt and Road Initiative, which was launched with an audacious plan to harness the juggernaut of the Chinese economy to the goal of Asian economic development, is on the verge of crisis as the BRI has become a burden for Beijing. Many projects, in fact, have failed to get off the ground and have produced very poor results. China placed a hold on a joint proposal of the United States and India to list Pakistan-based terrorist Abdul Rauf Azhar, one of the masterminds of the Indian Airlines Flight 814, under which the United Nations Security Council sanctions. Meanwhile, in more news coming in, a deadly fire that consumed at least half of the large oil shortage facility in western Cuba and even threatened to bring more power failures to the island's already fragile electricity system that was largely controlled on Wednesday. After nearly 5 days, the fire also forced officials to evacuate more than 4,900 people and shut down a key thermoelectric plant after it ran out of water, raising concerns about a new round of blackouts in Havana. US Vice President Kamala Harris met with pro-abortion state lawmakers in Nevada to discuss the political landscape in wake of SC's decision overturning Roe v. Wade. Harris also warned about the Republican lawmakers in conservative states passing laws that criminalize healthcare providers.
In many states, we're seeing an approach that suggests there should even be no exception in the cases of rape or incest. And I will tell you, having spent a large part of my career as a prosecutor, and I specialize in child sexual assault cases and violence against women, the idea that laws would be passed that after a person has endured such an act of violence, to not allow her to exercise the self-determination then to make decisions about her body and her future is...
A small Southern California wildfire sent off smoke and flames swirling in a tornado-like pattern. The Los Angeles County Fire Department was firefighting the blaze from both the ground and the air. Meanwhile, the department tweeted that the crews were making good progress on fire and that no structures were threatened. Anti-government protesters in Rhinetown were clashed with the police in the streets of capital as tensions only simmered over the rising cost of living turned deadly in the West African nation. In national broadcast, the vice president was quoted as saying that lives of both policemen and civilians was lost. He also announced a nationwide curfew in a bid to stem the violence. Rescuers were continuing to find survivors and bodies after a building collapsed in Nairobi of Kenya. We understand that Red Cross Society's head of disaster management said that the number of people that had been trapped in the rubble was still not known. Meanwhile, officials have said that 3 fatalities have been reported so far. Tommy Paul recorded one of the best wins of his career, beating second seed Carlos Alcaraz at the Montreal Masters. Alcaraz had led by a set and a break and even enjoyed a match point of his own, but Paul was forced his way back. In fact, he forced his way back into the match and captured the win with his fifth match point. Nick Kyrgios produced a superb comeback to beat world number 1 Daniel Medvedev and booked his place in the third round of Montreal Masters. Kyrgios has now won 14 of his last 15 matches, backing up his maiden appearance in Grand Slam final where he lost to Djokovic. And in more news coming in, table tennis gold medal winner Srija Akula won the mixed doubles gold medal with Ashanta Sharat Kamal in the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, received a grand welcome at the Hyderabad airport is what we understand. Sports Minister Srinivas also gave a warm welcome to Srija Akula. Meanwhile, Serena Williams wore her game face as she crashed out of the Montreal Open a day after announcing retirement for lawn tennis. Switzerland's seed Belinda also beat Williams in the straight 2 sets.